Hello and welcome to another episode of the A-10 Insider Podcast here on the Field of 68 Media Network. My name is Rob Dawson. That gentleman that you see with me is Jeff Goodman. We're going to be joined here by Derek Simpson from St. Joe's, who during this run, St. Joe's has won 6 of their last 7 to climb all the way up until 4th place in the A-10. He's averaging 18 points and 7 assists during that run. He's along with Jaden Glover, he's kind of been the best player for St. Joe's this season and definitely been their best player during this recent surge that they've been on. We talked to him about that. We talked to him about this improvement. We talked to him about kind of where this growth came from. So we'll get to St. Joe's there in a second. To me, the headline for this week, you got to give the shout out to St. Louis, man. Two
Yeah.
big games on Tuesday. They had a thriller against GW. I think they were down by as many as 15 in the first half. Came back to win on a Robbie Avila 3 with 3 seconds left. And then they followed that up by beating the brakes off of Dayton on Friday night. Final score there was 102-71. This St. Louis team, man, I'm telling you, you do not want to see them in March. Like
No.
you do not want to face this team. I think this team. And tell me if you think I'm crazy or just overreacting or doing the things that I do. I think that this team very legitimately has second weekend upside,
Oh,
and I think
hell
if
yeah.
there's one team that from kind of outside the power conference structure that can make a run, to me, it's St. Louis. Team that's outside kind of like that top 10 to 15 range. I think it's St. Louis, man. Like I think the athleticism, the shot making, the versatility of what they could do offensively, they are so much fun to watch.
And think of how hard they are to prepare for as well. Like on a one-day prep. If they win that first game in the NCAA tournament, you do not want to have to prepare for number one, Josh Hurts' offense, and then Robbie Avila, a big man who's just so difficult to be able to contain because of all the different things he's able to do, passing, shoot. I mean, we saw it, right? Like he wins game winner on a three. I actually thought, again, the game is the game, man. But how about Josh Hurts after the game celebrating at the bar?
Yes.
I,
That's
I, I
that's
texted him afterwards the next morning. I'm like, how you feeling? He's like, yeah, like, you know, not as
I
young as I used to be.
I texted him a picture of Tom Cruise in Cocktail and said
Yeah.
and said,
Yeah.
"Who does this remind you of right now?"
Yeah, no. Josh Hurts does not look like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, they got a real chance to make some noise here. You know what's really interesting? I want to real quick just touch on VCU.
Yeah.
Um, VCU to me is the single most important team when it comes to making sure that there are multiple bids in the A-10 and multiple bids
Sure.
in the Mountain West. One of those reasons is just because VCU's got a borderline at-large profile that if they can make a run here late, maybe pick up a win at St. Louis, that they could end up being good enough to get in. They should be able to get in on their own merits if they're able to kind of win out
February
and
20th.
yeah,
February 20th at St. Louis, by the
yeah,
way.
at St. Louis.
Yeah.
But beyond that, they are one of the best wins for Utah State, who has a
Yeah.
chance to be an at-large team, for New Mexico, who has a chance to be an at-large team, for St. Louis, who is more than likely going to be an at-large team, and for George Mason, who has a very real chance to be an at-large team. If you are going to get those 4 teams in the tournament, VCU has to be a good enough team to get
Yeah.
into the tournament. Like I as somebody that wants teams from the A-10 and the Mountain West to be
Sure.
dancing as at large teams, I am the biggest VCU fan right now, and I want them to win. Keep winning these games, blow some people out, get some big W's,
Yeah.
and be able to make sure that you are a the bigger the win, the more quality the win, the better it's going to be for the rest of those teams.
Yeah, they got to go on a little bit of a run here. Obviously, their net right now is 53 as we record this on Sunday. St. Louis is a lock at this point, unless something crazy happens. And George Mason's still right there, 65. So those two still have real at large opportunities here, but they've got to turn it on. They got to turn it on here, second half of the A-10 season, and can't afford any losses to some of the teams down the bottom of the league. And the good thing is,
I think
realistically, you're
VCU
only
might have
really
to win out.
talking.
We're
What's
I
that?
think we're at the point where VCU might have to win out, just
I don't.
because they get Dayton twice, and Dayton's kind of fallen off
Yeah,
here. They get GW at home, they get George Mason at home, and
yeah,
you're at St. Louis. I think that they have to win out if they're going to be.
yeah. They may have to. They may
They
have
if they
to. I
want
mean,
to feel comfortable on Selection Sunday, they got to win out.
I think you could lose the game at St. Louis, run the table, Other than that, get to the championship game of the A-10 and still get in
Hmm.
potentially. But yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you on that one. And another big one, George Mason dug themselves a pretty big hole Saturday against the Bonnies. Came back in Olean and put up a win there to kind of help themselves because obviously we know St. Bonaventure are not having the best year under Mark Smith this year. Shocking to me. But that was a big win for Tony Skinn and George Mason.
Yep. A lot of good basketball upcoming here in the A-10 and an A-10 championship race that should be really entertaining. There's a real chance, Jeff, that on the last day of the college basketball season, when George Mason hosts St. Louis, that
Yeah.
that game will be for the outright A-10 regular season
Yeah.
championship. And I, for one, would love to see that be the case. Listen, let's get to that interview with Derek Simpson, who was one of the better interviews that we have done in the history of the A-10 Insider podcast. And now let me welcome on to the A-10 Insider Podcast, none other than Derek Simpson, who is the product of the town that I now live in, Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And Derek, before we get into this, I just got to let you know, man, we defended your honor. 2-0 weekend here for the fourth grade Mount Laurel travel team. All right. We knocked
Okay.
off Haddonfield yesterday. We knocked off Morristown
Okay.
today. So we're doing it right here, man. We're picking it up.
That's what I'm talking
Derek,
about.
Derek, here's the deal. So his son
Uh,
Chase is what, 9? 9?
10, 10.
10, 10. He's gotten some really poor coaching lately. Really,
hmm
really poor coaching from his father, coach, combo,
hmm
whatever it is. So when you're done this year, can we try to get some upgraded coaching and maybe get you to come back to Mount Laurel and help Chase out?
I would love to do that, man. That's a goal of mine one day. I want to coach back in my town one day.
Good.
I'd
Good.
like to do that. That's
You
fun. That
should.
sounds fun.
You
Yeah.
should replace the guy with the Phillies hat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, please do. Please take this off of my plate. But that's actually a interesting question because you played for your dad's AAU program growing up, right? What
Yes, sir.
what was it like playing for your father, and what advice would you give to dads that are coaching their sons about how to be able to? Because that's
Mhm.
always that's always a difficult
Yeah.
dynamic, right?
Yeah. I think the biggest part about it was like he played Division I basketball, so he was always telling me things that I need to know for like the future kind of thing. And one of the biggest things that he did for me at a younger age when I was on the team, but I wasn't playing. I was in second grade. He had a fourth grade AAU team, and he told me, "Listen, like you, my son, I'm not gonna put you in. You're not gonna play because these kids are 2 years older than you. I just want you to sit on the bench and watch." So I sat on the bench pretty much most of the time and just watched. But I was playing with somebody else at that time. I was playing travel basketball or something like that. So I was playing, but he would just be like, "Listen, watch everything that goes on, and you'll learn a lot by just sitting there and watching." Um, and at one point it got to a point where I got old enough where he was like, listen, I can't coach you anymore because it's starting to get to a point where our rides home, they're too sad. They're too like there's too much tension in the car on the ride home.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that having a father son like coaching duo is just like it takes a lot on your mental, mainly because like you're just around your father all day. And then when you get
Mhm.
on the court and you try to be serious, it's like you bump heads a little bit. But it was a blessing in disguise because it prepared me for a lot of different things that happen in high school and college where coaches are yelling at you. But like I've been yelled at by my father since I was in fourth grade. So I'm used to this kind of thing. So
So
yeah.
Billy Lang, Peichel, those guys, even
Mm-hmm.
Donahue, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Nah,
phase you.
nah, not at all.
That's good though.
Not at,
That is. I mean,
yeah,
that's a major advantage when you have a tough father. And I think
yeah,
most are tough, but then I also feel like while they're tough, it's hard to be a parent and be objective. Like, like they can be tough on you, but they still, listen, no matter what.
yeah.
And Rob's got kids that are, getting older here. It's hard to be objective with your kids, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what. All right, let me turn back the clock a little bit here to preseason this year. And
Mm-hmm.
tell me how you found out Billy Lang was leaving and going back to the NBA and what your
Mm-hmm.
first reaction was.
Okay, so I was working out at the time. I was working out with one of the assistant coaches. It was me and somebody else. We were doing our morning workouts before like we got into practice, eating and then practice. And one of our coaches just looked at me and he was like, "Yeah, we got a team meeting because we were supposed to have it at night." And then it just happened. It got on Twitter and we were like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Did you see it?" And I was like, "See what? What we talking about?" And he was like, he showed me and I'm like, "Oh man." I mean, my first reaction is I'm happy for coach. You know, I think Coach has opened my mind to a lot of different. Coach Lang has opened my mind to a lot of different things in life. He even gave me books that I've started to read and stuff like that last year. So it was like a connection that that like not that I never had, but like it was a blessing in disguise. A new start. He gave me an opportunity. Obviously, you bump heads with coaches, but at the end of the day, it's all love. And you do what you got to do. It's right. His son is my roommate, so I
Oh,
get on him
really?
all the time. Yeah, Will is my
Oh, that's cool.
roommate, so you know I joke with him all the time about his dad and stuff like that. But when I found out, obviously you're a little heartbroken, but you were happy I was happy for the opportunity to be around him, and just learn a lot of things from him because obviously he's been in and out the NBA before, and I learned so many things, work ethic, just playing hard. Sometimes you do what you got to do, and yeah, it was a blessing to be around Coach Lang, honestly. Yeah.
You guys have it wasn't the easiest start to the season, but over the course of the
Mhm.
last like 3 or 4 weeks, things have really turned around, right? You've won 6 of your last
Mhm.
7. The only loss was a 7 point loss at VCU, and I don't think there's any shame in losing at VCU.
Mhm.
You are in fourth place in the A-10, and you have individually kind of taken another step to a point that I don't think we've seen out of you in college, right? Goodman, I
Mhm.
did the math. 18 points, 7 assists is what you're averaging during this recent 7 game stretch. What is kind of let's do the team stuff first. What's kind of
Mhm.
changed for you guys as a team, big picture, that has allowed you to get going and win like this?
I was talking to a coach about this the other day. I think what it was the Davidson game. I think we down the stretch we didn't have an answer. Um, and honestly, me personally, I should have took the bull by the horn and had the ball and was telling people what to do. Not that I was going to score the ball, but I wanted to get people. I should have got people in the right position to succeed, kind of thing. Um, that game was a blessing in disguise because it really turned our heads to like, okay, well, we lost the dude who had the ball in his hands at the crunch time, and now we got to be realistic and turn the page. Like we have to find somebody who's going to be that person in that moment to just get things settled. Um, and me, I just kind of, I was able to just take that bull by the horn going down the stretch like these past 6, 7 games. And not that I'm scoring the ball in those times, but I just need to be able to put my guys in the right position. I think it's interesting that we look at it from a team perspective. Now we're starting a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, a senior, and a 6 year. Very interesting lineup right there.
Yeah,
Very interesting. Um, and I was just thinking about that earlier, it's like it's a blessing in disguise. As I said, like we have a lot of different experience right here. We have no experience, we have barely experience, a lot of experience. So just us being able to bond together these past couple 3, 4 weeks and just kind of just understand each other better and just be like, listen, it will be like, yo, Justice, I need you to open up, man. Like, I need you. He'll be like, all right, I got you. Or he'll be like, yo, Dacier, if you're open and your feet aren't set, don't shoot it because I don't want you to shoot a bad shot that you don't shoot. I want you to get your feet set, my boy. Or to be like, yo, Derek, get the ball. And I'll be like, all right, I got you, bro. And that's just the type of conversations we've had in these past 3 or 4 weeks that have just grown us inside. And even in the like practice, like that's what we've been doing. But I got to give credit to Coach Donahue. Like he's really
Mhm.
been able to, turn that page too, and just be like, listen, like we're not gonna use this season as a waste. Like we're gonna get better. We're gonna figure it out. And that's what's kind of what we've been doing, and just been figuring it out on the go with
Do
each
you
other.
feel
So
do you feel like you individually have kind of taken more of a, I don't know if leadership role is the right, but it feels like you kind
Mhm.
of taking ownership of this group in a way that, I mean, that you're a
Mhm.
senior point guard, right? That's kind of the
yeah.
expectation for a senior point guard. But I think we're starting to see those results more now than maybe we did in November and December.
Yeah. Like what I kind of said, like it's just kind of been the confidence that we've had in each other, and it's just been able to grow me. So, like for example, um, I've had a lot of dudes like in these past like month or two just come up to me and ask me questions about like what am I doing that's this and that. I'm like, oh, I forgot I'm one of the older guys. Like I gotta
Mhm.
respect
Oh,
that question and answer it with honesty. And I like young group of guys. Like me and Justice are the oldest dudes. He's 24, I'm 22. Like, and then the rest is 20, 21. Like it's just kind of it's a weird it's a good opportunity to be a part of. But I think me personally, just having the confidence from the guys to just allow me to have the ball, and they got the faith that I'm going to do something good with the ball and make the right decision is just it's all you can ask for sometimes within your teammates. And yeah, it's kind of what it is.
has it hit you that it's almost over? That like
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it almost sounds like
Yeah.
it has, like listening to you a little bit of like, man, this
Mhm.
is kind of, again, you never know. I mean, maybe get another year or two. I mean,
Yeah.
NCAA rules, are there
Yeah.
any?
Hey, just go to the G League and come back. You'll be immediately eligible, Derek.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
what it's looking like.
Yeah.
That's what it's looking like. Yeah.
What's it been like for you though, the ride, Derek? Because I remember
Hmm.
I remember talking to Pike when he signed you, and
Hmm.
uh, and again, you had a lot of success at Rutgers and a lot of success early. What
Hmm.
what I guess what advice would you give to somebody that went through something like you did, which was you got a lot early and
Hmm.
then decided to kind of move on to a different situation, and now again finding yourself even more your senior year?
Hmm. Um, the advice I would give to any young player that ever wants to transfer, whoever thinks their situation is not that good, like you just got to look at it from a deeper perspective. Like things are not always as worse as your next situation might be, honestly. And like that's what's happening. A lot of dudes nowadays, they'll be like, "Oh, well, I'm not playing at this school," or like, "I don't like my situation." But it's like it's a blessing in disguise. Like I got to play with Cliff Amore, one of the most athletic players in America. Like that was a blessing. Um, my guy Andre Hyatt, he used to shoot the lights out the ball. Like a lot of dudes you play with, and a lot of experience. Coach TJ, Coach B Knight, Coach Pikel, like that experience, like was able to move me on to like the next opportunity with so much knowledge because of how much I learned from them, kind of thing. And you never want to just like be like, oh yeah, I'm done with that experience, but like just try to bring something over from it because like all that stuff is so important. Even if you get like a year in with those guys, like you're gonna learn something from them.
Yep.
Um, but like it also comes down to the point is like, what is the next opportunity that's best for you, kind of thing. And, I got my good 2 years in at Rutgers, and then I got 2 years in at St. Joe's, and that was my plan from the get go. As soon as I left Rutgers, I was like, I'm going somewhere for 2 years because I don't want to just go somewhere and then move on because then it's just going to be like you feel like not that you wasted an opportunity, but like you kind of want to thrive in something. And you know, a lot of dudes left from St. Joe's this year, and it was just my opportunity now to step into a bigger role and challenge myself. Is what I wanted to do when I came to college. People always ask, "Why did you go to Rutgers, the Big Ten?" Because I wanted to be challenged. I wanted to be, in that moment in Indiana where I got to hit the shot, kind of thing. So it's just all about opportunity and just thriving in that moment, and that's what's happening right now. It's just I'm getting the opportunity and I'm just able to thrive in it and be in the moment. So yeah.
So the schedule for you guys gets a little bit tougher here. You got GW at home, then you're at George Mason this week. How do
Mm-hmm.
you how do you keep this thing going, right? How do you keep this
Mm-hmm.
momentum going in the right direction? How do you guys get yourself to a place where
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody's catching St. Louis, but how do you get yourself to a place where you guys are in a position to be able to maybe when you get to
Mm-hmm.
the A-10 tournament compete for a championship?
Mm-hmm. Um, I don't want to say keep doing the same things we've been doing the last 4 weeks, but I think this last week we grew as a team. Mainly because at Loyola Chicago, you're up by 15, and I'm telling the guys, yo, like, what does it take for us to get to 15 to 20 points? Like, what does it take for 25 to get to 25? And that's kind of like what we did at Loyola. Um, Towards the end, then Loyola started playing a little bit harder, and it just turned a little different. But at one point, like I just saw, like I just was looking in dude's eyes, and I could just tell that like we're growing, and people are just understanding like the moment we're in. Like we got to be hungry no matter what. Like we can't just be out here like, oh yeah, like we ate, we got a full course meal. Like, nah, people still think that we're terrible. People still think this is an ass about us. So it's like we still got to keep that hunger inside of us for these next couple of weeks coming. And obviously it's February. It is the last 2 months of college basketball. And, I think the main thing that I'm trying to tell the younger guys is like, listen, like this is an opportunity right here. Like that's all you need sometimes. Just the opportunity to just play one of the best, have this week right here to play George Washington and George Mason. And if we make it out of it, like who knows what could happen and
Well,
kind of thing. So
you've
yeah,
surprised a lot of people. I mean, again, I think a lot of
absolutely.
people kind of wrote you off after the coaching
Mm-hmm.
change, expectations weren't that high. Then you got
Mm-hmm.
to start off slow. To be able to come back from that is not easy, especially like you said,
Mm-hmm.
you're a new group, you're thrown together with a coach that wasn't supposed to be the head coach. Was there
Mm-hmm.
like a moment there? Was there a meeting? Was there anything that kind of flipped
Mm-hmm.
this?
There was a lot of questions like that was thrown between players and this and that. So one thing I'll give credit to Coach Donahue is he became very personal with people. He was when he first got the head coaching job, he was like, "All right, we're just going to have individual meetings with everybody, and we're going to get this settled. I want to hear your concerns, and this is just going to be an honest conversation. If you think I'm terrible, you tell me I'm terrible, kind of thing." Which I respected about him because he was very open in those first couple conversations. Now it's turned into like he texts dudes like, "Yo, you're playing well," or like at one point of the season during December, he was texting me everything I was doing wrong, and it was
Really?
all clips of me just doing things like, "Oh, yo, you got to be here on this play, you got to be this, and that." So, and it was long text messages, and then when we get to practice, it's like, "Yo, you saw what I sent you? This is," and then we talk about it. We could be intellectual about it, kind of thing. And he was able to bring that personal side that I don't think people knew that he had on our
No, he's
team. Not
got it.
yeah,
He's got it. He's just a
yeah,
ball coach, right? He is an old
yeah,
school ball
mm-hmm,
coach. But
mm-hmm,
again, I'm from Boston. I was around him a lot at BC. He's
mm-hmm,
got it. He's just a little bit like Billy. Billy's very different. He's probably more
mm-hmm,
like Pike. He's more like
mm-hmm.
Pike than he is like Billy Lang, right?
Yeah, yeah. I could say that. You could say that. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like that side that he brought out, just being able to be personal, and then um as a coach, he's grown too because he's never. I just don't think he's had a group like us before, and he's open in his versatility of talking. And I think one thing he's also got better is being able to talk to people individually that need to hear it from a different perspective. Like me, I can. If you say I'm terrible, I'm cool with it. If you say I'm doing great, I'm cool with it. Some dudes just can't take that, and that is what it is. And he's been able to grow and pull people to the side and be like, "Yo, listen, like this is and that kind of thing." And like it's because I want to be a coach one day. So I watch what he's doing, and I really appreciate what he's doing for a lot of our guys, kind of thing. And I think that's brought us together and like everybody. So yeah, it's kind of what it became.
Yeah, the first of all, like the leadership I think that you're providing here is something that a lot of it's going to resonate for some of these guys that are in this program.
Mm-hmm,
The other part about it is you mentioned you got to stay hungry. I don't think
mm-hmm,
people realize how quickly it can end, right? Because you get to you've experienced this. You get to a conference tournament and you're thinking in your head like, all right, we're making a run. We're going to be here. We're going to be here for 4 days. We're going to have a chance to win this championship. And the second you lose, it's just over. And you're in the heart of it. You're in the meat of it, and then just boom, season's done.
mm-hmm.
And for the
Mhm.
upperclassmen, career's done, right? Have you been able to? Do the younger kids in that program understand that? Like, do they realize, look, it's fun and games right now, but when it's done,
Mm-hmm.
it is done quick and it is done sharp.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they can understand it from a college level. Some dudes, I mean, Glover and Al, they were on Marquette and St. John's, and those teams were amazing last year. So they understand what a winning culture feels like, and they've also been allowed to come to this program and bring some of that aspect here. Not that they were big contributors, but when you're in that environment, you learn a lot from it, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So they know that on a different level. Now, if you ask me
Austin
or
Austin
Justice.
probably does though a little bit because of his dad,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
He's been to games. He's probably understand that environment too, kind of thing. But a lot of us have never been in the moment with the ball in our hands. So that's a
Right.
different type of feeling right there,
Totally.
kind of thing. So I just, I don't think you can't explain it unless you've been through it, kind of thing. I mean, obviously, yeah, we win 2 games last year in the A-10. That was the first time I ever won 2 games in a conference tournament, so that was a new experience for me being in a semifinal game. That was insane to me, and we didn't get it done. So like, yeah, it was over after that, and yeah, you just can't explain that feeling to them, kind of
Give
thing.
me my last question for you is just give me the
Hmm.
biggest advantages. You've been at two schools that have been close to home.
Hmm.
My daughter went to school 1,000 miles away, so she never
Hmm.
had advantages of being able to come back home weekends, whatever. We're talking. It's Sunday. We're recording this, and you said you're probably going to go back home and hang with your mom here in a little bit. What is the biggest advantage of being at two schools that you can drive home on weekends or parents
Hmm.
can come see you play?
Yeah.
Any game.
Hmm. Um, I think a lot of people can resonate with this one right here because we got a couple dudes on our team that I've talked to. It's just about sometimes when you go home and you just smell the air in your home. You just get home, you sit in your bed, you sit on the couch, you talk
Yeah.
to mom. I got animals. We got a lot of dogs I've had. I go home, I just pet my home dog, and like it just brings you back to a refreshing mind. It's like a reset button. You pet the dog, it's like a reset button. You hug your mom, it's like a reset button. And whenever I get the chance to go home, I just go home. I go in my room, take my shoes off, and just sit in my bed for a little bit and just relax. Just a nice reset, and that's all you can ask for. Sometimes a lot of dudes don't get to experience that, so like I'm blessed to be having the opportunity to do that. So when I get a chance to, I just take full opportunity of it, kind of thing. So yeah.
So when you get home and you surprise your mom for Sunday dinner, what's she making? What's she cooking?
I don't know. We might eat out tonight. I don't want my mom
All right,
been
wait. I want to
dealing
know
with all the.
this. I want to
Uh,
know this. Since you both grew up and live in the same area, both
mhm.
of you, I want like your favorite spot to eat in Mount Laurel is what? You start, Derek.
It's a good question. There's not a lot of great
Um.
spots.
What's your good? Now you got
Yeah.
NIL. Now you got NIL too, so you can go to a good spot. It's not McDonald's, Taco Bell, that crap.
Yeah. I think one thing that's like that Mount Laurel and like Marlton area have is like Pancheros and like Voorhees. It's like Chipotle, but it's just the other Mexican version. That's what I usually get.
Okay.
Or obviously they got Angelo's, but the prices are getting a little high for Angelo's right
There's
now. I
also
think
17
Rob.
different Angelos. There's literally three
Yeah,
in like the region that I can get delivered from. And none of them I don't
yeah,
think any of them are really all that good.
Is Angelo's, what is
yeah,
it? What's Angelo's Pizza?
Pizza,
yeah. It's Italian
wings.
pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob
Hey,
probably
I got
goes
one for you,
higher end. Why?
Derek. I got one that
Now
you got
he's
to
got
check
two
out.
kids, so he can't
Mhm.
eat out a lot. Like he can't go out
Yeah.
to the upscale places, and there aren't a lot of date nights between Rob and his wife because his wife doesn't
There's
want to spend any alone time with him. But what would be the place, Rob? Rob, what's the spot?
if we ever go out, it's Tommy's Tavern because my kids they walk in there and there's like TVs all over the walls, and my son likes the grilled cheese, and my
Yeah.
daughter likes the pasta that they got there. So it's Tommy's Tavern. I got a spot for you though, Derek. You ready for this? It's called
Yeah.
Mom Pa's. It's on Creek Road. It's over by Rancocas Woods. It's like
My pause.
that little like the little main street with all the little restaurants. There's like a cafe there. They
It's
shut
like a
it down
shack,
during
right?
yeah, and you
Yeah.
walk in.
Yeah.
You can't sit down, and they got the
Hmm.
food truck out back. That's the
Hmm.
place to go. Don't
Okay.
don't go to Pancheros this time. Go to Mom Pa's.
Yeah.
Test it out. Trust me on this one. I promise you. I got you.
All
Derek,
right.
this
I'm
was
gonna check
fun,
that one
man.
out.
This was fun.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be because, you get Rob with another Mount Laurel guy. It gets to be a little bit much for me. But I'm
Yeah.
not lying here. I enjoy this a lot. So hopefully we're going to do it
Awesome.
again with you. Keep this thing
Yep.
going, though. Keep it going. It's really fun to see, again, kind of your career, what you've been able to do over your career and again, take advantage here. And just, it's refreshing to hear somebody speak about everything the way you have. And
Hmm.
so anyway, good luck. It's been good seeing you. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. I